let's give some people some insight on things. You know, as a firefighter, I don't think there were many occasions where I almost died. Because you go into house fires, and Kingsville's a small town. I guess if you would say, what were the few occasions where you thought, oh, you could have died, John? It was somewhat my fault. But I do remember this one particularly, and there were probably more. They're stuck in my mind. We had a truck fire out by the King Ranch, and I think it was called Highway 141. But it was from Kingsville, the main road, going out to the King Ranch. And the older guys, I wasn't that old, but I mean I had seniority because I got hired very young. And we were lax. And today they changed a lot of these rules. But whenever I would go to a truck fire at night or something, I would put on the fire department, we call them bunker pants, and then you also had a bunker coat. Those are the things you see firefighters wearing in fires. And then, of course, you have Scott packs and you have helmets. And I guess the rule is you're supposed to have all that on if you respond to a vehicle fire. Maybe the Scott pack not, but your protective clothing. But I used to go without wearing that. I would just put on the pants, and it's hot, and you don't want to wear that. So most vehicle fires, they normally don't just blow up. So if this car was on fire, I would just walk up like that, just with the pants on, but just a t-shirt a lot of times, and then put out the fire. Because it's not a big thing. I almost got a video once in Corpus. It was a truck fire, but I didn't have the video on. But one night at the King Ranch, I just had the red line booster hose, and I was at the truck shooting it, not right at it, because it was a total loss and nobody was in the vehicle. But I was close enough shooting it. But there was a propane tank in the back of the truck, and it blew. And I didn't jump or anything, but if it hit me in the head, I'd be dead. So at that point, and I was with my friend Joe, so I walked back to the truck, and I just put the helmet on. So arson is not like a joke, a game. There are reasons we have what's called controlled burn. They do that on the ranches. But there are reasons why arson's a crime. And just to give you a little insight, in that area I spoke about, I won't keep giving the name. Do you know that particular truck that was set on fire is like in an area like this, right next to where my daughter lives and my son-in-law. And where we ride those little quads you've seen on my videos, it's like a nice brush area. You know, if that fire got out of control, it could have burned down, could have cost lives besides the young children that live in the home of the person I mentioned. There are reasons why you don't commit crimes. And some reasons, all of them don't lead to the possibility that your own family could die in a house fire, which I'm quite familiar with. So there's extra shit to saying shit. You gotta be fucking kidding me when you see me in some of those. Now, I'm not sure, I don't want to cover local news, but I'm not sure if my friend Roger died. Roger was a homeless friend I asked you to pray for. Sunday, Brother Dave told us that they were going to pull the plug on Roger. He was in an induced coma and had him on life support. I've mentioned Roger's story before. Roger committed a crime. He told an officer who I'm familiar with that he threatened to kill him. He used that in his words. Those words were considered a terroristic threat. You say rightfully, that's correct. We agree with that, John. And Roger did 4 years in prison. Now, Roger was drunk and everybody knew he said it off the top of his head and everybody on the street said it. So those words are considered a crime. What do you think would happen if Roger actually killed that person he threatened? He'd be maybe death penalty or life in prison. Just to remind people, one of the cases I spoke about recently, and there was another one last night on the news. I'm not even going to mention that one. But it was a white officer who said on his audio from his car, the words he used, I'll curse, I cursed already. The words he used, oh, here comes the cop now. The words he used were, I'm going to kill that motherfucker. Those were the words that he used. Look, I got a cop rolling up on me right now. You might see him in my video. But those were the words that that white officer who made it to... Hi, guys. Yes. I'm doing a Christian video. Out of Corpus Christi.
You're from Corpus?
Yes. You want it? I'll give you the card for the... Oh, you want... I got a ministry card if you want to see it. Yes. See that? Stay true. But those words that were on the audio of the cop call were enough to be considered a crime. Meaning, you make a threat that you're going to kill a person, that's a crime. The other thing that was interesting was he even has his lights on and everything right here. The other fact was that white officer actually killed the black man. And the judge actually said in that ruling, the most recent case that made international attention, the judge said in that ruling that people say things, and so he said that, but beside the fact that he killed the man, he said it about. And all of that was considered not a crime, simply because that officer got off scot-free. Now, Roger might have died, and so that's why that's in my mind. If we did, I told you I had the fire inspector certification for many years. If we used that fire inspector certification, which we actually would investigate arsons from the local city, meaning the fire marshal's office, our fire marshal, we had a few of them, they were friends of mine. But if we were going to do an arson investigation, we would call in Austin, like the state fire marshal's office, to make sure it's backed up. How do you report an arson? If it's insurance companies normally check to see. What you do is a criminal investigation is done along with the fire marshal's office, and then you know what's done. For those that are not familiar, that's handed over to a local person in your county, in your region, called the district attorney. The district attorneys are usually friends with those that are cops. So you could actually do a criminal investigation and then say, here it goes to one of my friends. And then they could even sit down possibly with the guy and say, look, they got this here. And depending on the corruption of a region, they could laugh. We deemed that there was no crime. We deemed that we're not even going to hand this investigation over to a grand jury. Now you're beginning to see what is a greater temptation for those that are running it to do things like that. You understand? That's the normal process in this country. A crime's investigated, whether it be arson, murder, whatever. And then that's the process. And if in the process it goes before your friend, what are the odds that you're going to actually have an accountability? So I wanted to share that. I'll go short. You got all those other... Maybe it was good for you to see how I'm off the main highway. But how would a state trooper it's like a little side street. They don't get off the highway, okay? Unless they have a message to send.